Hey guys, welcome back to our day 5 of Java programming course. Yesterday we learned about control statements. Today we are diving into loops in Java, a crucial concept that allows you to repeat a block of code in multiple times. We'll cover the for loop, while loop, do while loop, and the break statements and the continue statements too. By the end of this lesson, you will have a solid understanding of how to use loops to make your programs more efficient and concise. So let's get started from the for loop. First, let's talk about the for loop, which is used to do when you know in advance how many times you want to execute a statement or a block of statements. Okay, so I'm going to the for loop, going to enter the main method here. Then I'm going to write a program. This example for loop. In this example, okay, for in this example I'm going to write the for loop runs 5 times and the loop starts with I is equal to 1. So I'm going to write this for loop, which is for int I is equal to 1. Okay, as of now I have said I starts with 1, then I am going to give the condition which is I greater than or equal to 5, then going to give the increment operator here. So this is the for loop in Java. So I'm going to print how many times the I was there. Okay, yeah, in this example the for loop runs 5 times. The loop starts with I is equal to 0 and checks the condition I lesser than or equal to 5, and then executes the code block. After each iteration, I is incremented by 1. The loop continues until I becomes 6, at which point the condition I lesser than is equal to 5 is false and the loop stops. So let's rerun this program. You can see the result, the console. You can see how much iteration is. Yeah, there are 5 iterations. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I started with 1 and ended with 5 because I mean the loop continues until I becomes 6, at which point the condition I less than is equal to 5 is false. The loop will stops. In this point the condition is false, so the loop will stop and move out. Okay, so some key points to remember in the for loop. The for loop consists of 3 parts, which is initialization, condition, and decrement operator. The loop continues to execute as long as the condition is true. The for loop is ideal when you know the exact number of iterations. Now we are moving to the while loop. For me, are moving to a while loop. Just command this one. Then I'm going to the while loop here. Okay. No. The while loop is used when you want to repeat a block of code as long as a specific condition is true. Unlike the for loop, you might not know in advance how many times the loop will run. Okay. Just now I'm going to show a program. This int I is equal to 1 and while is the while loop. So I'm going to type the while and I'm going to do a condition which is I less than is equal to 5. Okay, then I'm going to print iteration plus I. Here we need to add the increment I plus plus. Now we are going to run this program. Here you can see it was run 5 times. Here we start with I is equal to 1 and use a while loop to print the iteration number. The loop will continue as long as I less than or equal to 5. After the each iteration I is incremented by 1. The loop stops once I becomes 6. Here you can see. Some key points to remember in while loop, which is the while loop only checks the condition before executing the block of code. Before executing the block of code, while loop check the conditions first. If the condition is false, initially the code inside the loop may not execute at all, and it is not executed. The while loop is useful when the number of iterations is known beforehand. Okay. So these are the key points to remember in the while loop. So next we are going to the do while. How we are using the do while? Going to type do command do while. Okay. In the do while loop, it is similar to the while loop, but with a key difference. The code block inside the do while loop will always execute at least once, even if the condition is false initially. But in the while loop, it will check the condition before executing the block of code. Okay, I'm going to write the program. This do, and I'm going to give the statement which is iteration plus plus I. Then I'm going to give the increment operator here. Then in this end, I'm going to give the while. This do while loop, right? I'm giving the condition here, I less than or is equal to 5. Now we can run this program and you can see there is an example. Sorry, I less than or is equal to 5. Okay, sorry, not initiated here, so I is equal to 1. Now the program is correct, I think so. Yeah, it is correct. Okay, I'm going to run this code again. You can see this example. The do while loop starts with I is equal to 1. The code block inside the do section is executed first, and then the condition I less than or is equal to 5 is checked. The condition is true, the loop repeats. If false, the loop stops. Even if I started with the value greater than 5, the loop would still run once. Here you can see I am changing this condition, which is lesser than. I'm going to give the greater than 1, so you can see the loop will run once, because we will give the statement here and then we are giving the condition in the bottom side. So some key points to remember in the do while loop. The do while loop guarantees that the code block will execute at once. I mean at least once. Okay. The condition checked after the code is blocked, after the code block is executed too. So the do while loop is useful when you need to ensure the code runs at least once, regardless of the conditions. Here in the do while loop, it is not based on the condition. At least it will execute once. After it will check the conditions in the do while loop. So we are moving on to the break and continue statements here. So in the break statement, which is used to execute a loop immediately regardless of the loop conditions, it is commonly used in situations where you have found what you are looking for and there is no need to continue looping. You can see the break statements which is in the switch case is same like this. So I'm going to write the program for the break. You can see here. So I'm going to give the for loop here, then int I is equal to 1. Then I'm going to give the condition which is I lesser than or equal to 5. Then I'm going to increment this one. I'm going to give the if conditions 2 here. If I is equal to 3, so I'm going to give the break here. Okay. So the code will run 2 times. After it will break the statement or break the loop here. So here I'm going to type this out. Iteration, okay, equal to I. I'm going to run this program. You can check. In this example, the loop starts with I is equal to 1 and runs until I reaches 5. However, when I equals to 3, the break statement is triggered and the loop exists immediately, so the output only shows iteration 1 and 2. Okay, and we are moving on to the next one, which is continue statement. So I'm going to the continue statement, continue. Okay, here I'm going to the continue statements on the other hand skips the current iteration of the loop and continues with the next one. It is useful when you want to skip certain values or conditions within a loop. Okay, I'm going to give the same program which is here. Okay, I'm going to type it here. For I, int I is equal to 1, and I'm going to give the condition which is I lesser than or is equal to 5, then I plus plus. Need to open this one, so I'm going to write the if condition here. So I double is equal to 3, and I'm going to give the continue statement here. I'm going to type this statement, iteration plus I. I'm going to run this code. Here you can see the answers how it was working now. Yeah, it was 1, 2, 4 and 5. In this example the loop will skip printing iteration 3 because the continue statement instead it moves directly to the next iteration, so the output will become iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 4 and 5. Okay, some key points to remember in the break and continue statements. The break statement exits the loop immediately. The continue statement skips the current iteration and moves to the next one. So both break and continue are powerful tools for controlling the flow within the loops. That concludes our lesson on loops in Java. Today we have covered the for, while, do while loops as well as the break and continue statements. Here there are some statements here which is jump statements. I will explain it tomorrow or by in the next class. These concepts are fundamental in controlling the flow of your program and handling repetitive tasks efficiently. Now, next lesson we will explore arrays in Java, which are used to store multiple values in a single variable. So see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment if you have found this video is helpful. And happy coding. Thank you for watching, guys.